Hi everyone, welcome back to the Automotive Logistics and Supply Chain Red Sofa here at Digital Strategies Europe in Munich. Very pleased to be joined by Carolin Richter, Head of Next Generation Robotics at BMW Group, and here talking to us about a very interesting project on multi-purpose robots and humanoid robots that BMW is working on. Carolin, tell us a little bit about what makes this an important project, especially for our audience in logistics.
Right. Basically robotics is nothing new to the automotive industry. We shaped the first use and development of the robotic arms up to the industrial robotic revolution in the 80s, I think. 10 years ago, we introduced the first cobots, and actually the use of AI in robotics is not that new either. It is applied for quite some time now, for example, in image processing or learning of individual tasks. It is just now that the developments in the field of generative AI offer complete new challenges and possibilities of using AI models, large AI models, also in robotics. So the expectation of the robots of the future for next-gen robotics would be that they can be trained entirely without programming, almost autonomous. It's like a ChatGPT moment for robotics, although I think that is still a long way to go. However, us as BMW Group Production, we would be able to finally automate tasks that have been previously considered as impossible to automate due to cost effectiveness, and we could scale them more easily.
So really exciting as a ChatGPT moment, almost, coming maybe. If we look at logistics, now that's an area where I think often, or plant warehouse logistics, where automating some of those tasks has been difficult. Dexterity, variation. Why is this perhaps now such an interesting technology for these sorts of tasks?
Right. Like speaking of those tasks that have been impossible to automate, that also applies to logistics. For example, last mile handling in logistics is still mainly a manual task, since it's been really complex to automate this task. And I think humanoids could fill that gap by fulfilling intricate tasks that are at the moment very challenging for traditional robots. Due to they can navigate easily, they can interact with human environments. That makes them the perfect tool for last mile handling, for picking. And I also think that in logistics, the picking rate is a little bit more interesting than the cycle time. And that could be tackled a little bit more easy. So it could be a good start point. But anyway, I think for the automotive industry, humanoids will streamline component delivery and assembly processes.
Very interesting. You mentioned how it's using Gen AI. Can you give us a kind of a sense of how it's using Gen AI in areas like voice and vision to operate?
Right. I think the way Figure AI is approaching this topic remains their little secret sauce. But there's a wide range of research topics that try to find an answer towards general purpose-built robots and the connection of generative artificial intelligence to humanoids. And I think from what I understand is that we still don't know yet what really lies behind this term of robotic foundation model. Is it really the robotic brain of the AI robot that everybody's dreaming of? If yes, what would be the right learning method? Is it imitation learning, teleoperation, LLMs, VLAs, streaming data, synthetic data, simulated data? And speaking about data, I don't think the world knows yet what is really needed to train such a robotic foundation model. We just know it's a lot of data. That is why most of the robotic components at the moment, they work with terabytes of raw unlabeled data. So I think, Christopher, this will be the area where I'm most interested in the further development of those humanoids.
Well, that's also really exciting because there is so much data in logistics and supply chain. If we just can structure it and connect it, then we really have something. I have to ask, they've taken a human shape in the current models that we're using, a bit Terminator-esque or as such. Do you think that's the optimal and eventual design, or might that evolve? Will it have two legs?
I think we're going to see where those humanoids will develop into. But for our industry processes, we actually don't need a bipedal robot to be. Upper body functions, arms and hands are very interesting, but we have even flat floorings in our production systems. So we could actually also work with a robot on a mobile platform, which is actually easier to safety certify, which has more battery power, more compute, and usually they have more strength due to the more rigid core, so they can lift more stuff. However, since I see industry, in my case automotive industry, more as a transfer train station for the robot manufacturers of humanoids, they will need 2 legs if they move on to consumer industry, and also if they want to help in your kitchen, Christopher.
Help finally make me a decent cup of coffee at home. One of the other things I understand you're working on, Carolin, and your team is the software platform that will help to integrate the robot into existing production in brownfield sites. Tell us a little bit about that side of the project.
Right. My team is also responsible for developing this in-house, we call it Smart Robotics Platform, that will be the one face to the customer to internal BMW streams, but that will also be the interface to various robotic suppliers. So that it makes us, in the best case, robotic agnostic or hardware agnostic. And furthermore, this platform is based on ROS2. So that enables us as a middleware to work with open source software in industrial applications. That is quite new. And we think this is 2 very essential requirements if we ever want to use humanoids in our brownfield plants and to not get vendor locked by one supplier. So we want to be kind of the white box, the flexible part in an interface to the black box humanoid robot to be open for cooperation.
And that is very exciting, an open source robotic platform like that. So lots to come with this project. Tell us what you see some of the next steps are concretely. I mean, clearly it's not immediately going to serial production or something like that. So what are some of the next concrete steps of BMW and the humanoid project?
That is really interesting. It has been an exciting year so far with Figure. And I just can say, stay tuned. We're going to start deploying our first robots in the beginning of next year in Blanz-Spartanburg. So that will be very interesting to watch. And anything is thinkable. So there's been a couple of stuff that has been developed much faster than before that would be. And there's still so many open questions like the data and the robotic foundation model. So I'm really excited on what comes next.
Well, so are we, and we're so glad we can share what this looks like. Those of you watching now will have been seeing images of the humanoid at our conference. Carolin is presenting more exclusive developments on this, and it's so exciting what they're learning. And it went so fast, and I think that's some of the stuff we're going to want to share more about. So stay tuned. We'll have more to come, both from the event as well as in the future with BMW and the project with Figure. Thanks so much for being with us, Carolin.
Thank you very much, Christopher.